My wife and I have been together for 8 years, married for 5, and we have 2 daughters. It doesn't really matter, but given the situation of things, Kimmy, young child, is biologically mine, while Tori, tween, is not. The 2 often spend Friday to Sunday at their grandparents' house. I've noticed Tori for a few weeks has been quiet upon picking them up. She wouldn't tell me what was wrong, though. This afternoon she was emotional when she got in my truck. I could tell she'd been crying. We were heading to Walmart before going home, and I wouldn't force her into the store upset. Finally, after some prying, she told me her grandmother was rude to her. She explained how she forbids her any treats, making comments about her body. She's only allowed vegetables and chicken. But she gives Kimmy whatever she wants while saying to Tori, "When you lose weight, you can enjoy these things in moderation." This morning, the grandparents brought in donuts. Tori snuck one and went to their room. Grandmother walked in to find her shoving it behind the bed after taking a bite. She flipped a lid on her for sneaking food and making a mess. I was so livid that I left the kids in the truck, called her from the parking lot, and ripped into her. I admit that I was angry and aggressive with my tone and words. Grandmother's only response was she had to take matters into her own hands because I, as the stepfather, do not care about her granddaughter's health. My daughter seemed relieved as she got it off her chest, and I told her to ignore her grandmother because that was very inappropriate behaviour. We went into the store, got our groceries and felt bad, so I bought each daughter a gift just because and to take Tori's mind off things. When we got home, my wife was very upset about how I spoke to her mother. I told her what she'd done. She saw the girls' toys I bought. My wife says, "You know, regardless of how you feel about what my mom did, I can't believe you rewarded bad behaviour because she, Tori, did disobey my mom's rule about only eating healthy foods while at her house." What? What she did was traumatizing to our child. I told my wife no more unsupervised overnight stays at their house. My wife said that was unreasonable, and I needed to apologize to her mother for my explosive behavior over the phone. I'm man enough to apologize for my tone, but not the plan of action to protect the child. Not the idiot. Your wife needs to realize children are the priority. That little girl is lucky to have you. Her mother and grandmother will only succeed in giving that child body issues and an eating disorder if they keep this up. OP, you need to tell Grandma that she can see the grandkids, supervised and in moderation when she learns to behave. You are a great stepdad. This is none of her grandmother's business. It's not her place to take matters into her own hands. She does not deserve an apology. You deserve an apology as well as Tori. Absolutely agree. OP, did grandmother treat your wife this way? From your story, neither of them understands the damage that's being inflicted. Stand your ground on no unsupervised visits. If either of them keeps complaining, find some required reading to educate them. I bet your wife was raised the same way, and as long as she kept her weight in check, she'd get to enjoy treats. If she was lucky enough to have a good weight by grandma's standards and always got to enjoy treats, she might see it as normal. If she maintained weight because of this rule, the wife might see this as the reason she has a nice body. I'm getting married next month. We're keeping it small, just immediate family and a few close friends in the park on a Friday afternoon. 16 guests total, plus the officiant and the photographer. My fiancée works in a lab that sterilizes medical instruments and surgical equipment for her job. There are strict requirements to work there regarding appearance and the dress code. They aren't allowed to wear any makeup, nail polish or fake nails, perfume, cologne, body spray or other scented products. If you do show up with any of that, you're sent home. My fiancé tells me since they're covered from head to toe with all their skin and hair covered, no one bothers with trying to look good at work. They must wear scrubs, a protective gown, booties over their shoes, a hairnet, a face mask, glasses, a face shield, and double gloves. I've been dating her for almost 2 years and living with her for a year, and I've never seen her wear makeup. I honestly don't care if she doesn't because she's comfortable with how she looks. She hasn't bought or worn it in 15 years because of her job. My mom and my sister are unhappy she isn't going to wear makeup for the wedding. They say she'll look washed out and not good in the photos. We did hire a professional photographer for the wedding. It was our biggest expense, but we wanted to have nice photos. He's photographed hundreds of weddings, and he took our engagement photos. In our engagement photos, my girlfriend didn't wear makeup and she looked fine. It was taken in the same park at the same time of day as our wedding will be. He's aware we are keeping our appearances simple, and my fiancé is not wearing makeup, and he said he could make it work as he did with our engagement photos. At first, I thought my mom and my sister just wanted her to look her best in the photos. even if I didn't like the not looking good dig. I showed them the engagement photos, but they weren't placated. They didn't let it go. My complexion, hair and eye colour are the same as my fiancé, and I said I wasn't wearing makeup either. This is where I got angry because both my sister and my mom said it doesn't matter what I do because men look fine without makeup, whereas women don't do it and it only applies to my fiancé and not me. My fiancé said it was up to me how I handled it. I told them if they mentioned the subject again or said anything to my fiancé again, I would uninvite them to the wedding. I don't even know why they care so much. But after I said I would uninvite them, they weren't happy, and now both are royally mad at me. They're saying I shouldn't mistreat or talk to family this way when they were just trying to help. Also, as a man, I don't understand why this issue is important. Not the idiot. Good for you for standing up for your fiancé. It's her face, nothing to do with your mum or sister. And stop attributing good intentions to this. They are not trying to help. They are trying to impose their ideas on your fiancé. It's none of their business. OP, this is your first opportunity to teach them how to behave regarding your marriage. Use it wisely. Marriage aside, they're already massive idiots for that damn men look fine by default but women need makeup misogynistic BS comment. It baffles me that we're in the year of our Lord 2022 and people still say nonsense like that. I would have entertained them mentioning once that she may want to wear makeup. After that, it's just harassment. Your mother and sister have internalized misogyny, and you did a great job establishing boundaries. I'm a woman, I don't wear makeup, I didn't wear it to my wedding. My pictures turned out so cute. Congrats on the wedding and good job sticking up for your fiancé. I have 3 children, 2 twin girls, pre-tween, and 1 boy, younger. My husband had always preferred a son, but he remained neutral when our first 2 were daughters. Don't get me wrong, he loves our daughters, but somehow has this poor misunderstanding that they would not be able to enjoy the things he likes because they're girls, and leaves it to me to bring them out or engage them. Before, he at least used to involve them in fishing or soccer and his other hobbies, but after my son was born, my husband completely stopped engaging my daughters in his hobbies and only involved our son. He leaves the bulk of it to me because they have more in common with me. I involve all 3 of my children equally in whatever I do, be it sports or gardening, or even teaching them coding. I'm in tech, so it's quite disheartening to see the indifference, and my girls are maturing fast, and I'm worried they will catch on to the idea that they are lesser than. I've communicated multiple times and suggested that when he takes our son out to fish or do sports, bring our daughters too so they can learn. Still, he says he prefers one-on-one bonding sessions with our son and communication with our girls, and that he can't change his parenting style. Our girls are athletically inclined as well. I used to be in competitive tennis for most of my schooling years, and I trained both my son every Saturday or Friday depending on my free time. Last Saturday there was a community football game which was set up as part of a charity with a mini carnival. I was shocked to find out that my husband bought only 2 tickets for him and our son, even though plenty were available for our daughters to join. Even if he believed they wouldn't have enjoyed the game, they could have participated in the carnival. In that anger, I bought 3 tickets last minute and brought our daughters along, but sat separate and enjoyed the carnival and game by our own means. Ironically enough, my husband thought I was being condescending by doing that, even though I was giving him a taste of his own medicine. I might be the idiot for reacting like that, but after multiple failed avenues for communication, I decided to resort to underhand pettiness. He also told me afterward it's not that he doesn't care for our girls, but just that he doesn't have anything in common with them, which boils my blood. Even if, as I said, both of our daughters are very inclined in sports and love spending time with their father. Not the idiot, and whatever his misguided intentions are, those girls will grow up thinking it's favoritism. One-on-one bonding with each kid makes sense. One-on-one only with his son will make them resent him or feel like they're somehow lacking. This has the potential of really harming your daughter's future relationships with men. Your husband is misogynistic. He does not have a poor misunderstanding of what they can enjoy. Gender has nothing to do with what activities a person can like, and he has to realize this quickly, or it could start hurting your daughters. Even if he prefers one-on-one bonding, what activities has he done with the girls recently? Not the idiot, OP. Your husband needs to realize he's wrong and change his behavior ASAP. I have severe daddy issues because my dad neglected me. Not because he didn't love me, but because he didn't think I had anything in common with him. When I tried to express interest in his interests, he shut me out. So now I don't talk to my dad, didn't invite him to my wedding, and when I have kids, he's not welcome in their lives. My dad loves me, but it doesn't mean he didn't hurt me. You can love someone and still hurt them. Also, your husband seems like he's making excuses for his favoritism. Please tell your husband to change his ways or go into counselling before your daughters go no contact with him. Update. I appreciate the advice and expertise received. I had suggested couples counselling before, which my husband wasn't interested in, as mentioned in the thread below. Regardless, I'll try again to convince him to get personal therapy, perhaps so that he can work through any issues he might have. I don't think my husband is misogynistic. Still, after reading through the judgments, I agree that he might have some biases and misconceptions that need changing before it severs his relationship with our daughters. I love all my children equally and want them to have a wonderful relationship with their dad as I did with mine, but I know he could make a change if he tried. Thanks once again. My grandmother, GM, was kicked out of my aunt's house when she caused so many marital problems my uncle threatened to divorce my aunt if she didn't. She lived for a few years in a nursing home before the global issue, but during that time there were tons of nursing home deaths, so my aunt and mom got her out. I'm the oldest of my mother's children, so I got so much pressure to take care of my grandma. I didn't mind too much initially because the deal was I didn't pay rent and live with her to cook, clean and help her with her diabetes. I don't know my GM well, so I thought it might be a good bonding experience, and I worked remotely so it wouldn't be so bad. The first problem came when I told them I was bringing my dog. My GM freaked out, telling me she would never let a filthy animal in her house. It was the one deal breaker I had, and I told my aunt or mom, Oliver, my dog, had to come with me, but they never told my GM for fear of her reaction. I put my foot down, saying if he isn't coming, I'm not either, and I guess my GM gave up because she didn't want to go back to the nursing home, but she made Oliver's life a living nightmare. She would scream at him every time she was around him, and I tried to keep them separate, but she would demand I abandon him because she's my GM. So finally I had no choice but to leave him with my friend temporarily because she was so unbearable. Next was washing clothing. She demanded I wash all her clothing by hand, and she had a washing machine, but she would scream, "You're lazy," if she caught me using it. She also wanted restaurant-quality meals and to throw sandwiches and cereal on the ground if she didn't like them. Finally, she didn't believe I worked because I work online, I'm an accountant, and she would yell at me during the middle of a meeting for ignoring her when I told her I needed 30 minutes of peace to attend a meeting. My boss told me many times to get her to stop doing that, but she never listened. She has diabetes that isn't managed well, and I tried to get her on a healthy diet, but she screams and yells at me when she doesn't get what food she wants, which causes huge sugar fluctuations and causes her ulcers on her feet to get worse and weep. It was hard to get appointments with the doctor, so I had to clean them, and I wasn't qualified. When I persisted through the yelling and screaming to make her eat healthily, her ulcers would get much better and start healing. But in the end, I gave up and let her eat anything she wanted so she would shut up. But it made her blood sugars worse and her ulcers worse, which I had to deal with. So after almost 2 years of a living nightmare, I got out and moved back to my original city. My GM is so mad because she expected I would stay there looking after her until she passes. I told my mom and aunt I wasn't doing that, and they begged me and tried to guilt me with the fact that she was going to die alone at a nursing home. I feel like a terrible person because I didn't feel any guilt. After dealing with her for 2 years, I just didn't care. Not the idiot. You gave her 2 years of your life. I hope you got Oliver back with you, but as a nursing home employee, I dread whoever has to deal with her. My own family had to put my great-grandma in a home because she was very similar to this. She wasn't much nicer at home, but we visited her, and with staff able to rotate to deal with her, no one had to suffer long. Caretaking is demanding work. It drains the body, mind, and spirit. To be brutally honest, she doesn't have to die alone. She has your mom and your aunt. They can take care of her, but they will not because they know very well that she's abusive. It's perfectly fine that you don't feel guilty about escaping an abuser. I mean, they're the daughters, it's their responsibility first. They saw an opportunity in the form of OP to dump their mother while they pretended to be good human beings. They get to play a good person part while manipulating OP to take responsibility and bear all the abuse and hard work. Sometimes I read these and am completely astonished by people's consciences and guilty feelings in situations like this. I wouldn't have even thought twice. You're a good person, OP. 2 years? I wouldn't have lasted 3 days. I would have thrown the food at her feet like she did you, yelled right back, took my dog, and left. LMAO. We need to stop this mentality of accepting toxic behaviour because someone is family. At least you put her in a home and didn't just leave her to sort herself. I, 30 male, have been together with my girlfriend Linda, 29 female, for over 4 years and planning to propose. My entire life I've been very private about my relationship since my family would get very nosy. This weekend I invited my family and my girlfriend out for dinner, which I was comfortable covering. However, during the entirety of the dinner, my sister Chloe, 34 female, wouldn't stop calling me gay. She's been persuaded that I'm gay since I was a teen and would always say something about it. This time she said that I was using my girlfriend as a cover and that I didn't need to be hiding this as they're all family. I've asked her multiple times to stop, as her saying all of this made my girlfriend really uncomfortable, and it felt like she was disrespecting her and our relationship since I'm a straight man. My sister, however, wouldn't stop and got it too far by saying I'm in a secret relationship with one of my best friends, which nearly made my girlfriend cry. I had enough of this, took my girlfriend, left more than enough money to cover the bill for myself and Linda, and left. This also means my family now had to cover their own food and drinks. After we left, they would bombard me with messages and calls saying I'm an idiot, who can't take a joke, and for leaving them to pay for the dinner when I'd invited them out. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, OP. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Your sister is a bully. That's not a joke. And disinvite those idiots from your wedding since, apparently, your relationship doesn't mean anything to them. Agree, that's not a joke. Your sister has been calling you gay for 14 years and making your girlfriend feel miserable during your entire relationship. She won't stop, so it's time to go no contact with her and each member of your family that calls it a joke. Ask them to explain the joke. What's the joke? Can you explain it to me? Why is it funny? You know it upsets me and you could tell it was upsetting my partner, so who found the joke funny? I don't recall anyone laughing. Aren't people supposed to laugh at jokes? This crap is just abusive garbage, and you were entirely justified to leave.